Hey guys, what's going on? Brian Betz here. Figured I'd do another video about strings. For you guys that don't know me, I'm a jazz guitar player, adjunct professor of jazz guitar at Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey. So if you get a minute, go to the Fine Performing Arts webpage for Rowan. You see some interesting things there about our department, and also my website, brianbetz-jazz.com. A lot of comments, a lot of questions about strings on some of my YouTube clips. I also get questions at gigs. It's a very personal thing. Some of you may strongly disagree with me about this, but I'm going to give you my take on it, and here we go. I always played with round strings for many years, and my primary guitar was always this L4 right here that I play. Still my go-to. It's a great piece of wood. It's a carved instrument. Okay, what does that mean? That means at the top of this instrument is real wood that came from a real tree. In this case, it's spruce. Supposedly, the finest wood instruments are made from spruce. Your Stradivarius violins, cellos, I should say, let me be politically correct, and guitars. It's a solid spruce top on this. I love flatwounds on that. I know some guys out there are going to be like, Brian, you got to get out of the, the archaic period of playing that. It's a very old style. I really don't care. That's what I like. It works very well on this instrument. I like the feel. I like the sound. People argue that flatwound strings are dead out of the bag. I'm not disagreeing with them. They're a very dead sounding string, but there is no string whistle, particularly in the right hand with the pick. And once again, I favor that sound on that guitar. Gauge wise, what I play, 13 on the top, 54 on the bottom, with of course a wound third string. I've thought about going heavier. I think the guitar could take it, but I've been playing GHS flatwound strings for probably over 20 years now. Forever, I would have flatwound strings on my number 2 axe here. It's an ES-165. I forced it for years. I played that guitar with flatwounds. I changed the bridges. I had a wooden bridge made for this guitar. I also had a wooden bridge made for this guitar, and I stayed with that wooden bridge. But I thought for years that I could make this guitar sound like this guitar and feel like this guitar. And they have the identical shape, which is ironic. Not until about maybe 2 or 3 years ago did I come to the revelation that it ain't gonna happen. After complaining to my advanced students and other guitar players that I know in the community, in the jazz community, I would always complain, man, when is this one gonna come around and sound like this one? It's never gonna be this one. Because for a couple of reasons. They're all different, number one. Number two, this is a laminated instrument, okay? By no means is this a shabby guitar, okay? You could buy probably a nice Hyundai Accent for what this thing costs. But it's different. It's a different type of wood. Laminated wood, it's fancy plywood, okay? I played flatwounds on it. It sounded like ass, okay? It didn't work. And not until about maybe 1.5 years, 2 years ago, I went to a, almost like a half wound string. Not a bronze, never a bronze on electric for me. But I went to like a nickel half wound. That works on that guitar. A round wound string would work also on that guitar for me personally. But I'm just trying to make the point that I push the flatwounds on that guitar because I love the feel. It just wouldn't work. I'm really happy with the way that guitar sounds now. This axe I have over here, very special instrument, was actually willed to me from a very close friend that passed away years ago. I play a round wound bronze, okay? It's a completely acoustic instrument, hollow body guitar. It sounds great. But once again, I think if I put flatwound strings on that, he'd be better off playing some first act guitar from Toys R Us. So what am I getting at? The reason why I wanted to post this video, all guitars are different, okay? For the longest time, I had the feeling that flatwound strings were for me all the time, and there was no exception. And I had to come around and say, they're all different animals. Where do I want to go with this also? I teach a lot of jazz guitar at the collegiate level, and I also have some advanced students that come to my home studio here. Something I will say, I see a lot of younger guys, they see the flatwound setup and they're playing maybe a solid body guitar. And I've seen some of my guys do this, and I have not encouraged this. They play a solid body with flatwound strings. I don't think it works personally. That type of guitar, your solid body guitar, is meant for round wound strings in my professional opinion. So don't make it something it isn't. Okay, you know, you got to look at what you're using it for. I think you'd be better off in that application if you want to play jazz, and maybe all you have is a solid body guitar, and you aspire to have a hollow body guitar. Respect the fact that it's a solid body guitar, and maybe, you know, bump up the gauge a little bit. That's a possibility. I wouldn't suggest putting 13s or you know, a super heavy string on a solid body, because number one, a lot of times the nut on the top of the guitar can't accommodate that string. I found that out years ago when I was touring with someone and I had to play a Stratocaster, and I wanted to put super heavy strings on, and my tech said, we got to redo this nut because that first string, I wanted to put like a 12 on it, the nut wouldn't accommodate it. So sometimes you have ideas with setups, and it's not the ideal thing to do. You know, that's how I feel about strings. The reason why the flatwounds for me, once again, work on this instrument is primarily the wood, I think. It's such a great piece of wood. Your L4, your L5, your custom guitars, anything with a carved top, I think can really do it. I'm not saying the laminated instruments cannot do the flatwound string. For years I played, on my other side, my other wall over here, I have an Epiphone Emperor, and I played flatwounds. It sounded good. But I think recently I hear the difference with the round wounds and the flat wounds. Your round wound strings are going to be a lot brighter. There's times I like to play this guitar, and I think it cuts better, and I have to use less volume. Maybe a big band gig where it's a little louder, instrument works really well. So that's my take on strings. Like I said, I've had a lot of people ask me. I figured I would do a video. As far as gauge, on all three, same gauge. I play 13 on top, 54 on the bottom. Just the texture of the string is different. As far as picks go, while I'm talking about strings and picks and setups, I have been playing the same pick, not the same exact pick, but the same type of pick, 25 years. I play a Fender Heavy. A lot of people say, what, are you kidding me? Because they make all these amazing custom picks that are, some of them are, you know, 40, 50 bucks, made out of bone, what have you. I saw someone play with this pick years ago that had unbelievable technique, some of the best I've ever seen in my life. I studied with this individual. His name was Federico. And Joe has the most amazing right-hand technique I've ever seen in my life. I mean, just perfect, pure perfection. I'm telling you the reason why I play the Fender Heavy. I saw him play that way, and I said, if he could do it, I could do it. And over years, I just adopted this. I have like probably 500 of these in my desk over here. And every once in a while, if I lose them or wear them out, which does happen, but you know, I'm not like a rock player would wear a pick out. I bust some new picks out. But I know a lot of people will say, well, the Fender Heavy, they're kind of slippery. You know, if you perspire, it might, you know, slip out of your hand. Yeah, I think everybody goes through that, but you get used to it. And I like the sound, and I've been playing that pick for a very, very long time. I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm just telling you what works for me. So, you know, I hope this helps you guys out a bit. I hope maybe it gives you an idea, or you know, just a different view on gear as far as what I do. Amplification, I love tube amps, Fender Twin, probably 99% of the time. If I'm playing maybe with a trio with no drums, I have a Hot Rod Deluxe I use. I've tried transistor amps in the past. I had an amp made for me years ago from the Evans company. They were supposed to be really great. Wasn't too crazy about it. And I truly feel, you know, I keep the sound analog. You know, with this hollow body sound going into a tube amplifier, that's the sound I'm looking for, and you know, that I admire and want to convey when I'm playing. So as far as amplification, I like tube amps. Fender Twin is really my go-to. It's too bad it weighs 73.5 pounds. But a lot of people see me lugging it out of the car and like, man, you're crazy, but it's a great sound. I know a lot of guys in New York play these little things. Polytone's a popular one. I think they're great amps. It's just not my cup of tea. That being said, once again, I hope this helps you out, this video. And of course, if you ever have any questions, shoot me an email. You'll see my link on my website, or give me a comment. Until next time.